Hello everyone, my name is Eren and I would like to welcome you to the introductory lesson of the Python Start course and the showcase of what this course is made up of. First, before we get started, I would like to ask the parents to move to the back of the class and please hold your questions in for later because I will be addressing them at the end. For the students, hello, and I would like to welcome you all to the Algorithmics International School of Programming and Mathematics. In an ever-advancing world where technology is one of the most important skills that you can add to yourself, it is very important that everyone learn programming. So, can anyone give me an example of where we see programming being used in real life?
We can see it in AIs, in machine learning, video games, CGI, a lot of things that involve basically technology, movies, music.
Very well. In this course, we are going to go over a very specific and sought after programming language. Programming languages are how we give commands to computers, but we'll go into that a little bit later. Before we start with the lesson part of this introduction, I want to get to know each and every one of you. So, going around the room, I'd like for each of us to present themselves by saying your name, age, where you come from, and what your favorite movie is. And I'll start. Hi, I'm Eren, I'm 18 years old, and I'm from Pristina. My favorite movie is The Matrix. Now let's start with you.
Well, hello, Mr. Eren. My name is Guri and I'm from Bayam. My favorite movie is Eminem 8 Mile.
Very nice. Thank you, Guri. Very nice to meet you. Now, does anyone have any experience with programming in this class?
I have finished the AP Computer Science Principles course and we have learned a little bit of pseudocoding there.
Very nice. So I am guessing you are familiar with the logic behind coding, but not so much the syntax.
Yes, indeed.
Very well. Starting now, I'm going to present to you the foundation of Python. First things first, compared to other programming languages, Python is very simplistic. The very first program all of you are going to write in any language is called the Hello World program, where you're only going to be printing the phrase hello world. As you can see, in C, you have a whole list of syntax that you have to memorize. Whereas with Python, because it's based on the English language, you can immediately just say print hello world. And that, I believe, is what makes it perfect for your age group. Why is Python important? First things first, Python is used by a lot of companies worldwide and is very sought after in the market today. Does anyone have any idea why Google, Intel, IBM, YouTube, eBay, or Facebook might want to use Python?
Well, since Python is so simple, it would just make sense that they use it in order to make a simple code that runs without any errors.
Very nice. But also, as you're going to learn later, Python is very useful for AI. And one thing that all these have in common is that they use some form of artificial intelligence to give you content. Right? We've all had the experience of going on YouTube and searching up videos, and then suddenly you are recommended a video that you wouldn't have otherwise found, and you end up enjoying it. Right? Yes, that is because of artificial intelligence. Python is also, as Guri said in the beginning of class, used in game logic. But it's not so much what you see in the game that is Python, but how everything behaves, how the characters move, how the physics works. And we are going to be doing stuff like this along the course. I would like you to see some of the projects up on the screen that we're actually going to do this year. Starting off, we have a sketch of a tree in a way. And then we have a turtle shell game, which again, you're going to see how we make that through the modules of Python. And then we have a simulator. Now before we can get moving with any of these, it's important that we start from the basics. And we're going to go at this one step at a time, right? So, Guri, which one would you like to try out first?
I would like to try out the turtle shell game.
The turtle shell game. So I see you are a gamer.
Yes, indeed I am.
Very nice, and we're going to be doing plenty of that in this course. But before we get started with any of that, I have to tell you what the progression is going to look like for this course. First things, in this introductory lesson, we are going to do the emoji mastering, as you can call it. So what is emoji mastering? We're going to learn not only how to use emojis and understand them, but also how to use Python to do interesting things with emojis. Then, after you are enrolled into the course, we're going to do the Python developer intern, where you are basically going to be acting like a real intern in a company, and our lessons are going to be based on that premise. We're going to do immersion in work, introduction to different types of work tasks, and small assignments. Next, we're going to move on to being junior developers. So does anyone know how working in programming really is? Would it?
Well, working in programming is that you're a team usually, you work as a team, and each person in the team has a certain task that they do, and they help each other around if somebody's stuck on a part, but they basically form up, each person does a task and they end up forming up whatever they're working on, like website or video game, AI, whatever they're doing.
Very well, that's a very good point that you brought up. A lot of the work that we're going to be doing in this course is going to be teamwork, because that is one of the most important skills that you can form as a developer. But in terms of your own individual development, the move from intern to junior developer is a very substantial one. As an intern, you are given very easy tasks, and tasks which are there only to train you to become a better developer. But then as you move on to the junior developer, you are going to be given actual harder tasks. Being a junior developer, you're going to be asked to participate in actual serious projects. So some of the things that we saw in the previous slide, you're going to be solving minor work tasks, as I told you. You're not going to be given the hardest of tasks, but they will be realistic. And then you're going to have, at the end of the year, a hackathon is what they call it. Basically, you're going to get into groups, and then you are going to have a problem to solve through programming. This, leading on to the second year of the course, is where you become what we call a middle developer. This is where it starts and you start getting into the real senior development. Now, before we start with our work, I have a quick exercise for all of you. I want you, since we're going to be talking about emojis today, I want you all to try to guess what movie this is.
Batman?
Very good, very perceptive. Now, how do you know it's Batman?
Because we have a bat, we have a Joker there, and we have cash, which means robbing, which is because Batman fights crime. So
very well. Now, if we move on to the second slide, this one is going to be just a little bit harder. I want you to guess the song based on these emojis.
The Christmas anthem song, We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Very well. Which Christmas song?
Last Christmas.
Close, but no. Which one? What song involves bells? Jingle bells. Very good. Thank you. Now, if we move on to the other slide. we're going to be starting with our work. Now you all have your computers in front of you, and we are going to log you in, and then we're going to be working on the tasks I assign for you in the software. Got it? Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed doing those tasks I assigned for you. And now I would like to go around the class and have you share the things that you did and what you learned. So is there any volunteers? Gure?
Well, I basically worked on an app that lets me send emojis, 10,000 emojis to be more specific.
Very nice. And what did you use to make that app?
I used basic Python.
Very nice. Now, I would like to very quickly go over the structure of what we're going to be doing for the rest of the year. So, our Python courses are divided in this way. There's two. There's Python Start and Python Pro, and each one of them is a year long. So, with Python Start, in the first year, you're going to be learning the basics, constructs, functions and modules, the turtle module, which you use to make the games that we were talking about. You're going to be learning about object-oriented programming, which is what Python is. You're going to be making a game with the Pygame development, and you're going to be graduating in the first year. Then in the Python Start second year, we're going to get into the more advanced topics like data structures, making windowed applications, working with different types of files, automating image processing or AI, and then we're going to be getting into some real game development with Pygame, and then if you guys are up for it, we can also do a bonus module where we make something that you add to your portfolio. And then again we have graduation. Then, if you graduate from this class, you go straight into Python Pro in the second year, where you have 3D games, web development, data analysis, basically more advanced than Python Start. Thank you, everyone. Now I would like to introduce myself again to the parents. I am Edin, and I am representative of the Algorithmics International School of Programming and Mathematics. I'm going to be the teacher for this course, and I would like to talk to you more about the course and the institution. So the Algorithmic School of Programming and Mathematics is an international model that operates in more than 25 countries around the world and makes programming more accessible to students everywhere. Right now I will show a quick presentation of what we offer. We offer a multitude of courses, one of which is the Python course. As I said, we are in 200 cities, 25 countries, and there's over 150,000 children worldwide. So this is how we separated the age groups for the children. We have coding nights, computer literacy, visual programming, game design, building websites, and then Python Start, which I'm going to be teaching, and Python Pro. So for Python Start, the age range is 12 to 13 years old, and then for Python Pro, it goes from 14 to 17 years old. So why choose Algorithmics over other schools? So first off, all our lessons are based on methodologists and specialists. We have experienced teachers who will do their best to make sure that your child has a deep understanding of how everything works. And we also have skills that we teach our students that are applicable in any case of life, not only for programming. Are there any such questions?
Yeah, do you believe Python is understandable for this age group?
Yes, actually, because of its nature and how it's built on the syntax of the English language, I believe that Python is more than palatable for this age group especially.
What if my child doesn't want to be a programmer in the future?
Like I have mentioned, the skills we teach, the soft skills like teamwork, algorithmic thinking, presentation, are applicable in all areas of life. And even if your child chooses not to be a programmer in the future, they can use the skills to advance their career in whatever they choose.
Okay, thank you.